I'm Becki Zerr, and welcome to Raising Kindness, a podcast all about promoting volunteerism within our community. Join me each month as I'm joined by my 12-year-old son, Bennett, and his friends, demonstrating that together, despite my vision loss, we can definitely make a positive difference in others' lives. We may not always know what we're doing precisely, but we're going to learn, meet new people, and have a lot of fun during the process. So grab a friend and join us on our volunteering adventure that we call Raising Kindness.
Welcome to Raising Kindness. I'm Becki Zerr, and today's episode is all about honoring our current and past veterans. I have the honor of saying that both of my grandfathers were World War II veterans. My grandpa Bill was one of the most important people in my life. To me, he was kind of like a third parent when I was growing up, because whenever anything significant happened in my life, he was most definitely at the top of my list of must-tell people. Now, as an adult, it gives me pride in knowing that my family contributed to this amazing country that we all call home. My grandpa's war medals have now been passed along to my son, and he has them proudly on display in his room, representing a person that we all miss and hold dear to our hearts. I recognize that I was totally lucky to have the privilege of introducing my newborn son to my grandpa during his later stages of his life. But despite my vision loss, I still have a clear picture of that memory of my grandpa holding Bennett as a baby for the very first time in his arms. His expression was so full of pride and love. But let's step away from that and get straight into today's episode. So Bennett, his friend Zaron, and myself had the opportunity to volunteer at the Royal Canadian Legion. Having the opportunity to help out at this organization was most definitely rewarding. And it was all thanks to their president, Henry, whom I now have the privilege to welcome to the Raising Kindness podcast. Welcome to the show, Henry.
Thank you.
Henry, I'm wondering if you would mind starting off by telling us a little bit about yourself.
The military has been a background thing in my life, but come from generations who were involved. Myself, I was started into the Army right out of high school and then went back to university on my own stick. Stayed mostly with the reserves for the last 30-some years. Did a couple of tours of Afghanistan and now I'm retired from that because they don't take old guys. And so now I'm back and working with the Legion because you try and give back in whatever way you can.
I'm wondering if you can share a little bit about the Legion and the programs that they offer.
Oh, certainly. The Legion was founded in the first place to try and help returning veterans from the wars that needed help in one form or another. Before the Legion was formed, there were all kinds of local community organizations that tried to help soldiers that were in need of assistance. But it was very ad hoc, and so finally in the 20s they organized the Legion. Regina Legion is the very first branch that was organized in Canada. It's number 001, so we're kind of proud of that. Anyways, the Legion is its primary function is to try and provide assistance when needed for any veterans or previous servicemen or their offspring. In the way of financial assistance if they need it. If they're coming through town and they need some accommodation for temporary, we try and help them with that. We have programs for assistance for their children that want to go to university. We have bursaries and we just wherever we can help, we try and do that.
How big of an impact do you think that volunteers have on the Legion meeting its goals and objectives?
Oh, total impact. Everybody in this branch of the Legion is a volunteer. We have no paid help. And so anybody that you talk to is totally a volunteer. The people that man the desk and answer the phones come in just strictly on their own stick. I don't get any reimbursement for what I do. None of the people get any assistance in our branch. We used to have hired people, but we just find we can't really afford it right at this moment. COVID sort of took a chunk out of our ability to do that kind of stuff. So we're starting again from scratch, and we're back to volunteerism, which is what we started out as.
I'm curious, what are your thoughts on kids contributing into the organization as volunteers?
Well, I like it. I think that's very important. If we can get the younger generation involved, at least to be aware of what went on before, and they'd be less likely to have to go back to war in the future. And I think that the younger generation will appreciate more what we're trying to do if we can get them involved in one form or another. Even just coming out to tour around the museum and see what happened before and what we have in stock, just the awareness itself will help in future generations. I'm sure that Bill, the man who did the tour, was right in his glory. So it's very positive. There's no reason why it wouldn't be positive.
If people want to know more about the Royal Canadian Legion, where would you direct them for this information?
It depends on what they want to know, I guess. The best thing would be to just go into your phone book or onto 411 and find the number of the local Legion branch and phone there. And the ladies that answer the phone, or men that answer the phone, because we have some of them too, those guys will be able to direct your queries to wherever, or they'll be able to answer them.
I just want to say thank you so much, Henry, for the opportunity to allow the kids and myself to come and spend a little bit of time at the Legion today. It was such an honor, and it was just wonderful meeting you.
Well, thank you.
Next up, I'm excited to introduce Trevor, a new Legion volunteer. Welcome to the show.
Hello.
Do you mind starting off by telling us a bit about yourself?
Well, Regina resident, born and raised. I have, at the age of 26, I joined the Canadian Armed Forces, and from that, what they call a basic engagement, which is 3 years. And in that time, I did my basic training, my trades training, and straight to Afghanistan in the summer of August 2003. Did my tour there for 6.5 months and came back in, I think it was February I came back, so. And from there, I left the military after that and got involved in law enforcement. So this is where I'm at now. So.
Wow, that's quite the exciting career already for you.
Yeah.
But I'm wondering what initially drew you into volunteering at the Legion and what keeps you coming back?
Well, I think giving back to your community is important. And I think there's a number of ways to do that. And everyone has what works best for them. And for me, it's volunteering. And volunteering with the Legion lets me kind of connect with the people you worked with in the armed forces, right? And when you leave the armed forces, that's one big component you miss, is those people that essentially were your family for that 3 years, right? So it just kind of lets me reconnect with them, I guess.
For sure. You hear all these things about how the armed forces is one big family. So I'm happy to hear that you achieved that connection again.
Absolutely, yeah. I still have a lot of connection with a lot of my old Army buddies, so yeah.
Right. So what do you think that volunteers get from volunteering at places like the Legion?
That sense of giving back, right? And I think it's important for the younger generation to come there and volunteer, because I'm not sure if the younger generation has a real connection to the Legion at this point, right? And I think it's nice to just kind of integrate them. I know the Legion's done that through some different type of memberships they can have. But yeah, it's just important to be part of it. So
absolutely. When you were an active member, how did you find supports from the Legion? Did you have any of their services or supports?
Not as an active member, no, because we had our supports within the armed forces. So I never really became interested in the Legion until post-military career, when you start wanting things back, when you start wanting that connection, I guess, with the people you served with, right? So
for sure. So you were with us today during our volunteer experience, and had an opportunity to meet my son Bennett and his friend Zaron. And I'm just wondering what your thoughts are on youth being part of the volunteer force for the Legion.
I think it's a great idea. I think, like I said, typically people think the Legion is the older generation, and I think it's really important to get that younger generation involved in the Legion, because if it's just the older generation involved now, at some point we won't have those volunteers, right? And I think we need to carry forward the work the Legion's doing, and ultimately has done through volunteers, and bringing up these young people and letting them integrate into it and having that sense of community within the Legion.
Absolutely. And for the viewers that are out there and are curious about what type of volunteer opportunities may exist within the Legion, can you provide some examples by chance?
Well, I don't know exactly what's with the Legion, but for myself, I always look for volunteers in the museum for giving tours. There's going to be a lot of work coming up for cataloging all the exhibits, research for the exhibits. But yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking for. I know Henry will be able to tell you more about the Legion and other volunteer spots within the Legion. But for me specifically, looking for people to do tours and people who are, motivated and want to come, just give some time and do some research for the museum.
Absolutely. Well, we had a wonderful time this morning with you guys and are sincerely appreciative of you spending some time with us today. So it was really nice for having the opportunity to meet you as well. So thanks for taking time out of your exceedingly busy day to come and have a conversation with me and join the show.
Thank you so much.
Okay, here we go. Time to hear from the kids. I'm really looking forward to hearing this conversation because I'm quite curious to hear what the kids have to say about this volunteer opportunity that they had at the Royal Canadian Legion. So, welcome to the show, Zaron and Bennett.
Thank you.
Bennett, can you start off by telling us a little bit about your volunteer opportunity you guys had today and what you got to do? Zaron, feel free to jump in and help them out.
So today we went to the Regina Legion and we volunteered at their museum, and it was a super fun time. We got to look at all the artifacts, the models, the pictures, and we got to do a scavenger hunt. And then at the end, they put us to work and we cleaned the display cases with Windex.
So guys, I'm wondering, was there something that each of you learned today?
So I learned that there was actually a war in 1953, and it was called the Forgotten War. I think it was the Korean War. And I actually didn't know that there was a Korean War.
I learned that they use a lot of different weapons in war, like bayonets, a bunch of different rifles, different knives, swords, and everything.
And what was your favorite part of the day? Zaron, do you want to start? And then maybe Bennett, you can share yours?
I really liked the scavenger hunt and looking around everywhere for the different models and pictures.
Yeah, I also really, really liked the scavenger hunt. My favorite part was just walking around and looking at the different things, trying to figure out, was this the correct thing? And when we got it right, it was kind of a competition who got it first. So,
what is something that you would tell other people about the Legion now that you've had an opportunity to spend some time there and help out?
I didn't really know what the Legion was at the start, and I didn't really know that there was a museum, but now, definitely looking back, I will go there lots.
And I'd say it's a really good learning opportunity if you want to learn about different wars, like the Korean War, World War I, World War II, all those.
Agreed.
Well, I thought you guys did a great job, and I think we all had a really good time together. Okay, guys, now it's time for the Raising Kindness Challenge. This is the time to get our viewers involved and help us spreading kindness all around the country. So tell me, what do you guys have cooked up for us today?
So our challenge for you guys today is to go out and buy a poppy and wear it with pride and take a picture and post it on our social media page.
And I think this challenge that you guys are putting forward is fantastic. Bennett, you've always loved wearing a poppy each year, and I hope that everybody goes out and buys a poppy, and I hope you all wear it with pride in support of our veterans. I can't wait to see all the pictures on our social media.
Thank you.
So speaking of poppies, when I used to drive my car, I always had a poppy pinned to the driver's side roof, kind of by where the sun visor is. And I'm sure that most people that rode with me likely had no idea that they ever knew that it was there. But I totally did. It was just something that I kind of quietly did on my own. My grandpa Bill passed away in 2010, and at that time, my vision in my left eye was still intact, allowing me to drive. And during the months leading up to my grandpa's passing, he was living in a long-term care facility on their veterans ward. He passed away in September of 2010, and that November, the care home, they held a special Remembrance Day ceremony and read the names of the veteran residents who had passed away that calendar year. I attended this service with my family, and upon entry, we were each given a poppy to wear. After the ceremony, when I got back into my car to head on home, I replaced the poppy that had been in my car for so many years with the poppy that I had just received. They looked identical to anybody else, but to me, the poppy that I was just given, it just meant so much more to me than the one that had been driving around with me for so many years. A few years after I had lost my eyesight, I finally decided that I was ready to sell my car. And the poppy that I had received from that ceremony nearly 10 years prior, it remained in the same spot that I had positioned it the day that I had received it. And the last thing that I took out of my car before it went to its new owner was my poppy. And now it sits on display in my room as a small reminder of the man that means so much to me. And that's the end of this episode of Raising Kindness. We look forward to you participating in the Kindness Challenge, so be sure to tag us in on social media. Take care, and thanks for watching.
And that's a wrap on this episode of Raising Kindness with me, Becki Zerr. Thanks so much to all of my guests and to you for tuning in. Be sure to check us out on social media. You'll find us on Facebook and Instagram at raising.kindness.podcast. And don't forget, you're going to want to like and subscribe to the podcast on YouTube and your favorite podcast platform. See you again soon.